And we're joined now by Democratic Colorado Congressman Jason Crow. It's good to have you here.
Good to be here, Margaret.
In this moment of a lot of tension and some dangerous political rhetoric, I wonder what you're thinking this morning and your message to Americans.
Well, I condemn in no uncertain terms the violence against Donald Trump. That type of violence has no place in America, no place in our political discourse. We settle our debates and our differences through political discourse. You know, I want to acknowledge the emotion, though, that we're all feeling, that America is feeling. It's heavy. It feels like we are on the precipice of something right now. I know that. So now is the time for us all to recommit to uniting and coming together as a country. I think about my own background. I come from a conservative family. I fought with Americans from every background. We can come together and do great things and unite. I believe very strongly in it.
I want to talk to you more about that, and it's an important message. We're going to do it on the other side of this break, though. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Face the Nation. We return to our conversation now with Democratic Congressman Jason Crow. Right before we went to the commercial break, you used the word unite, the importance of the country uniting. The Democratic Party has been fractured publicly in this debate up until 6 p.m. yesterday. That's where our political conversation was. Would Joe Biden be replaced at the top of the ticket? Has that conversation ended?
The Democratic Party has not been fractured, Margaret. I want to clear up this misconception about disunity or fracturing. The Democratic Party is a healthy, robust organization that has honest conversations, that talks about things publicly and responds to the concerns of the American people. That's what we do. That's always what we do. I don't shy away from that. That's not a sign of disunity. That's not a sign of weakness, having conversations and responding to people's concerns. And that's what we did yesterday. A group of us that represented some of the toughest districts in America had a robust call with the president to voice our concerns.
Toughest districts, you're saying, because re-election campaign prospects are getting harder for Democrats in the last few weeks in the wake of that debate performance by Joe Biden. Our reporting has been that there were other Democrats on that call who told the president point blank that he would lose key battleground states. What was your message to the president?
I ask tough questions of the president because that is my duty and that is my responsibility to the Coloradans that I represent. Right? But I want to be really clear that President Joe Biden has been one of the most effective national security and foreign policy presidents in generations. And I have and will continue to stand by that record. And I've been one of his fiercest advocates. But campaigns are different. Campaigns are about messaging those wins. They're about talking about the vision of the future. And if we're being honest with ourselves, sitting here right now, that message is not effectively breaking through. So the tough questions are, what is going to change? How are we going to change that message or that approach to that message to break through and win this election? Because the consequences are too high not to have that tough conversation.
Up until 6 p.m. yesterday, when everything changed, there was a lot of focus on this, and there was reporting that it was a very heated phone call and that the president actually got very direct with you and personal. Is that accurate?
Listen, this is a tough business, right? There's a lot at stake. Emotions can run high on every side. I don't shy away from that, by the way. This is not about me. It's not about my emotions. So I embrace those conversations.
Was not open to the message you were providing to him?
I think the president heard our message very clearly. And in fact, he promised to come back to us with more information to address our concerns and to answer our questions. And that's the process we're going through right now. In the coming days is answering those questions. We don't have a lot of time, but we do have some time to answer those questions, have that tough debate, and that's what we're going to do. And then we will decide together the best path to go forward.
So when you say decide together the best path to go forward, you are not completely closing the door on the conversation about a change at the very top of the Democratic ticket?
Well, ultimately, that is the president's decision. We can voice opinions. And I don't make decisions without full information, and I don't yet have that full information.
He's made his opinion very clear that he's not going anywhere.
Well, again, I cannot speak for the president. All I can say is what I believe in the concerns that I have, and I've been very clear about those concerns because that is my duty to Colorado. That is my duty to my constituents and to my country. That is my oath. My duty is to make sure that we can address the challenges before us and we can win this campaign.
But you are, to be clear, still concerned that Joe Biden is on a losing path.
I do believe right now, unless there's a major change, that there is a high risk that we lose this election. You know, that group of Democrats on that call, again, we were the majority makers in 2018, and we will be those that will help us lead to the majority again this fall. We know how to fight and we know how to win these tough elections. And reading the tea leaves is very troubling for many of us right now. So we want to see a change. And that's what the questions that we're asking are about.
I want to ask you about rhetoric. At a distance, everyone has gotten very heated, obviously, in the past 24 hours, but I'm talking leading up to it. Democrats have referred to Donald Trump as a sociopath, as a narcissist, who have been in, and this isn't just heated campaign rhetoric, direct verbal criticisms in very heated terms. Do you think at this moment all of that should stop?
I think right now, on the heels of an attempted, what appears to be an attempted assassination attempt by all the evidence that we're seeing right now, we all need to take a step back. We all need to take a breather.
Has Democratic leadership told you to do that? They
have not. This is my opinion. Although I've seen other Democrats come out with that message, and the president said as much last night. What leadership requires during this very sensitive, very delicate time, where violence could spiral out of control, right? We are on that precipice. So leadership requires that we all step back and we say, enough is enough. We can't do this. And this is my call to action, both to the American people and to my colleagues. To the American people, right now, pick up the phone, walk out your door, go talk to your neighbor, go talk to your colleague, call your friends who don't agree with you and tell them, we can disagree. You're not my enemy. You're not evil. This is our time to come together and to reach out to each other. And to my colleagues, let's stop creating political moments and let's start creating political change. That is what we need now.
I think a lot of Americans would agree with that sentiment. I know tomorrow House members like yourself will receive a security briefing. There has already been a history of threats against lawmakers. I wonder how safe you feel just showing up for work or carrying out your work as a lawmaker.
Well, it's a sensitive time. There's no doubt about it. I've received numerous death threats against me during my time in office. I've been on the receiving end of political violence as well myself. That's why we all need to lower the temperature in the room, and we also need to be vigilant and very careful right now. There's no doubt about it. And this goes to my earlier point about rhetoric and words mattering, but also making sure that we're all taking care of ourselves.
Jason Crow, thank you